Well, hello everybody. Good evening. It's Stamp With Me Live today. It's the fourth Monday, which is when I have my Stamp With Me lives, the second and fourth Mondays of each month. So yeah, we're going to get started. Today we're doing the floating technique. Now, traditionally, my Stamp With Me lives have been kind of a sketch or using designer paper, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit now and add in some techniques. So it won't always be, I used to, whenever I do a sketch or using designer paper in a layout, I will give dimensions ahead of time so you can prep your projects. Well, this is a little bit different when we're doing a technique. I'll give you, what we're doing and maybe what you need to make your card, and then you can decide if you want to watch and make later or whatever. So this is a technique class today, and it's called the floating card technique, or the floating technique. So what that is you're adding paper to a window sheet. Now this is a clear window sheet. We sell them in 12 by 12. You can use transparencies. You can even use, let me show you some of what I use today. When you get a photopolymer stamp set, you get two pieces of clear plastic. One is thick and one is thin. So what I've done in some cases with my stamp sets of photopolymer is to take these off and adhere them actually to that's not the right one, I guess it's right here, to the stamp set. And then I take the floppier piece and take this off here and glue them or adhere it right to my stamps right there. So this doesn't fly around. I'm still not sure if I prefer that method or not, but one of these pieces is thicker than the other, and you can use it if you're in need of transparency for this technique. Okay. All right, so I shared this card. I made this for a blog hop for the Control Freaks last week, and just used layering circles in various widths of cardstock in the blues and green, I guess you'd say. So I'm going to make a card like this, but I'm going to change it up and make a couple others too. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. All right, we're going to make a card like this. Let's see if I can get my pieces out. I'm going to do it in purples, and I know some of you love purple. So hopefully you'll like this one. Ooh, something's sticking here. I can see that I have a little bit of something on my little die cut, probably a part of a glue dot or something. Okay. All right, so this time I used, instead of the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, I'm going to use the Hive 3D folder, just as a subtle background for behind all these layers. So let me get my bone folder, and this is 4 1/4 by 11. You could use any standard size. It does not matter what you use. And this will get glued basically. I just have to decide. I think I like this side better because it's a little less busy. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. I hope you're going to get inspired to stamp. That's the reason that I do these Facebook Lives, is to hopefully inspire you to get the products that you've purchased out and use them. Okay, so the card base is ready. All right, so I started adhering some of these strips. Now here I'm using Fresh Freesia, I didn't write these down, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. So I just have a bunch of various size pieces, and I want to change it up in width here. So it's really hard for you to see, but I am working on a transparency. Hopefully you can see that. And you can put your glue on your cardstock and put it on, but I tend to put it right on my my work surface. That way I'm not touching things that are full of glue. So if you can do that and get a straight line, more power to you. And you just want to be sure your pieces are fairly close together. Now this is a simple version of what I'm doing. I'm going to show you a couple other versions in a little bit here. I think we need more purple here, or more grape. Okay, and you don't have to use the liquid glue, although if you're using small pieces, you do need to. And I'm going to show you another way of using the glue instead of what I'm doing today. I have a trick that I'll be sharing. Awesome. Thanks, Joyce. I'm glad that my videos inspire you. That makes me very happy. I love getting that from people that watching me gets you inspired to stamp. This is the largest circle in the Layering Circles dies. So it's the largest smooth circle. That's what I'm using here. And I'm going to grab my mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. It's quite a mouthful. Hey, did you know that tomorrow this is going, oh, guess what? I can't use this one because it's too wide. But if I trim this down a little bit, I just realized my die fits, but my paper does not. So hold on. I'm just going to trim so this will work. Let's see if I trim it close enough. I didn't bring my larger machine. Oh, I think if I just trim off these pieces here, make a little mess, we should be okay. So this is narrower than, of course, the larger machine. I just have to decide what I want. I think I'm going to do it there. Okay. So this tomorrow, this little special machine. Oh, I do want to show you something. When you're putting it in, you want to stagger your plates. This is such a lightweight machine. There's no weight to it, so it doesn't have a lot of oomph to get it started. Oh, I'm going to straighten this out just a little bit. So you do, oh, that is thick with all those layers. You do need to stagger your, you can hear that clear window sheet cracking. And hopefully it cut through. Sometimes, yep, I think I might have to do it again. And in this case, I'm going to show you a hint. When you run it through again, do it upside down. So what I'm doing here is getting that back into place, putting my things on there. Hopefully it's still in place, and putting it back in. The reason I'm putting it upside down is for some reason it likes to cut better the second time. You can see it's really thick. When you turn it upside down, it just cuts more completely. So a little hint. Oh, I can see it caught just a little bit on there. So hold on. Let me do a little trimming. So you can fill a whole piece of window sheet with these strips. And yeah, let's see if I can follow this line. Sometimes it's just a little too thick when you add these layers. It still works. You just have to run it through multiple times. So there we go with purples. You make sure this is the right way. So when you add this, now I'm going to show you a tip. I did cut out the thanks. Now this is from the, oh gosh, did I bring the name? Amazing Thanks dies. So there are You Are Amazing and then Thanks, and there's all the layers for this. So I thought I just wanted a really easy card, or greeting, I should say. Now what I'm going to do is I cut this on this white piece. Do I have anything? I'll show you a little later. It is featuring our adhesive sheets. So if you don't like gluing little bitty curvy tiny pieces, the adhesive sheets are the way to go. And there is a break in them as you put them on. I think that was a break. Hold on. But otherwise, basically what you just do, yeah, it is. You just find that break, and I'll show you that in a little bit, and you peel off the backing. And then you peel off the rest, and no glue needed. So these adhesive sheets are in our annual catalog, and they're awesome. If you are one of those people who does not like the glue, this is the way to go. So it already has my adhesive on it, and then I just press it onto my layering piece. So it makes it so much easier. All right, so when we do this, oh my, need my dimensionals. Thanks, I'm glad you like the purple. I thought it would be a different change. I'm a blue-green girl, so I do like the blues. That's my favorite. So I'm going to add these mini dimensionals here and there to support this piece. You do want to raise it. That's what gives you that floating technique. So I'm gonna do it just like that one and see if I can get this straight. And then I'll just add this thanks right here. And again, with our dimensionals, I actually did die cut the purple, add purple to this as well. So I could, but I want it raised. So that is that same adhesive sheet on the backing, but I'm gonna raise it. So I do want it popped up a little bit. And if my little pieces were too large, my dimensionals were too large, I would just snip them in half, so to make it work. Okay, and just gonna do that. And I'm not gonna add the friend. Well, yes, I am. I forgot I was going to do that. Okay, so I have a little piece of fresh freesia, and my stamp is from that Special Moment stamp set. This is the last night of celebration, and this is a free stamp set with a $100 order. So if you still have things you want, this is a great way to get a really nice greeting set. So I'm using this one right here. Where would I be without a friend like you? So I'm going to specifically ink that, just stamp the word friend in, this is Gorgeous Grape. Okay, I'll close this. And then I'm going to just fussy cut it. So when words are, greetings are very straight like this, super easy. You know, it kind of adds that neat element when you are at, I just want a little something else. So I need to get a little closer on this one. Okay. All right, again, we're gonna reach for the mini dimensionals. How many of you have the minis? Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Let me know where you're watching, where you're from. If you've ever made a floating card, I'd love to know that. I have made them. It's been a long time since I've made them. So yeah, we're doing this in my Flowerbugs team. We're doing a floating card challenge. So I'm hoping some of my Flowerbugs are watching tonight. I saw Annette and Sharon on, and I think Marilyn. So these are our regular rhinestones, and I have a couple purple blends, a fresh freesia and a Highland Heather. So I thought I would just color some. Oh, this doesn't seem to either be working or have enough juice. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I don't like to use the brush tip as much because it tends to dull the tip, and so I'm being really careful here. And the more that you color them, the darker they get. So let it sit a little bit. I'm going to use this one, and I don't know if we'll be able to tell any difference between the fresh freesia and the Highland Heather, but we'll see. I can tell a difference. We'll see how they look when I put them on. So I'm going to follow this this layout and just do something very similar. Oop, missed that one. How do you pick up your rhinestones? Do you use a poker or a tweezer? Okay. All right, now the decision on this card is which is your preference, purple or the blue-greens. They're both beautiful, I think. I really like them. Okay, that is the one version. And you know, I don't know if I'm going to finish this, but I have one. I have the last version I'm going to show you today is the most unique, but this one is very similar. I had done this, I cut these strips out or adhered them to my window sheet and cut them out, and then it just sat here for a while, and I think I finally came up with an idea that I might like. So I don't know what you would do with this piece unless you did some smaller pieces or strips. But if you did do strips with a larger piece, you could probably get 2 circles if you spaced them better than I did here. I could do one here and I could have done a smaller one there and overlap them. So there's lots of ideas. I just didn't use them. Okay, I'm gonna put this one on the diagonal and try something different with the flower. And this flower is from the, oh, is it the Dandelion Dies, I believe? I think that's what it is. So we're gonna try, I think I'm gonna put it on this side. And I started layering this and I thought this was just a really fun idea, but I'm going to put the greeting, at least I think that's what I was gonna do, kind of like that. I'm gonna trim this, oh boy, like that. And then to make a banner, if you don't have your banner punch, which I forgot to bring out, I'm just going to cut a notch in the middle. This is how you can make a banner. And if you do not have a banner punch, see, pretty neat. I just don't know where I want that. I didn't really want it quite that center. Let me see. You know how you start playing. I don't really want it to look like a snow globe. That's why I'm having a little bit of trouble here. I want it to kind of peek off the end, but I do want this to go on top of it. So maybe I want it like that. What do you think? No, that doesn't work either. I don't know. I think I might have to switch this over to the other side. It's just not working that way. Oh, and look at all those. They did not stay on the window sheet. Is just too slippery. You're watching me figure this out. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to try it over this way. I think that might work a little bit better. This will be up here, and this can be right there. Does that look balanced to you? Maybe. I might continue either to add these. These are all in those dies. They're really fun. And maybe, I don't know, if I want to add another flower that's kind of falling off, or just continue to layer. I think it could be kind of fun to have these, I don't know, too many decisions. I don't know, what do y'all think? You want to get your hands in here right with me, don't you? Say, put it here. No, put it there. Well, I'm going to start with this. Just make this happen. Okay, just put a little bit of adhesive on that. I should really add this first, shouldn't I? I did heat emboss this, and this is a greeting from that Dandelion Wishes set. So I want it off just a little bit. Okay. All right, that's what we've got so far. I have to turn it this way. Sorry, I can't check the balance with it being upside down. Maybe it should be like that. I kind of like that. How do you think? What do you think? Is that balanced? And I like lifting these little dandelion things up. I think I'm going to just make it so. Now, adding gems is another thing I thought I would do, but I don't know how to add the gems to that. We'll just have to see. I might have to finish this later once I make my decision with gems. So this is the gingham embossing folder. I'll show it a little closer in a minute here. Love, this is Magenta Madness, this pink, and this is the retiring pink color that's going away at the end of March. Okay, that's really fun, isn't it? Very different. We'll see about adding gems. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might just randomly add them. You like the purple one, Katie? Yeah, this is my favorite, but I do like the purple. Yeah, this is the Dandelion dies, and they are part of the March. This is a bundle for the March Savings and Bloom that starts tomorrow. So there is a new promotion starting in March, 20% off the mini die cut and mini Stampin' die cut and emboss machine and a bunch of bundles. So I'm promoting that tomorrow on my blog. You'll see that. So this is another way to do a floating card. What do you think of this? This is using the Simply Marvelous paper and the Friendly Hello stamp set, and this is in a designer paper bundle in the Celebration catalog. But the dies, ooh, I forgot to get those dies out. They're in the annual catalog, and it's, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'll have to add those later, what I used. But I'm gonna try something different using the Iconic dies. So this I know, this is in the annual catalog. This is called the Iconic dies. They have all kinds of fun things like birds and bees and leaves and flowers, and then the feather, which is my favorite thing. So I started creating this card and getting some of it done, so I wouldn't be, you wouldn't be watching me glue. And I cut out the paper. Oh, let me grab something here. I bet I don't have it. Oh, yes, I do. So the paper that I die cut this from is the Abstract Beauty paper. It's this one right here. It's mostly Misty Moonlight with just a little bit of gold dots in it. But this is the Abstract Beauty 4x6. So I cut out a whole bunch of these feathers out of that paper and started adhering them to my window sheet. On this case, I just cut this into a rectangle. Thank you, Marilyn. Artistic dies for the leaves. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's the artistic dies. And in this case, I did use a stitched rectangle to cut out. So I glued all these leaves on and they were hanging off the edge, and I ran them through with the stitched rectangle die. Let me tell you, that did not die cut well with the, yeah, hang on a minute, Katie, I'll answer that. It did not die cut well because of the stitching. So I did not use stitching on this one. I wasn't sure if I just didn't have a tight enough sandwich, but I had to run it through multiple times. I lost a few little ends because I didn't have enough glue. So as for glue on window sheets, I did use the adhesive sheets again. So what I did when I cut out the feathers was on the back of this, I adhered one of these sheets. So let me just show you how this works. So these adhesive sheets have 3 strips that you can take off. Now they are really, really sticky. So what you want to do is you take that off, and then you would adhere, say this is my designer paper, you adhere that to that. And then you would die cut on the opposite side. So your white backing, let me get some of this out of here, is on the back, and I'll show you that. I can see there's a little break in that die cut paper, or that paper that right there. Okay, so you can see there's another break, and so you just lift off that backing really easily using the point of a scissors, or there's another cut. So it does make it easier, but oh, it is sticky, let me tell you. So I have to hold on to this leaf or I'm going to tear it. These feathers are very delicate. So just remove the backing. And now that I have that off, I'm going to adhere it. And I kind of started with a plan. Let's see if I remember what it was. I think it was this. It's kind of going to fill in. And you just press that on. So I would use liquid glue or the adhesive sheets for this. Now I do need a little more, let me put that on here, a little more right there. So let's see, I can see this already starting to, at least I think it is, the paper. So you know, you have to decide whether you want to use glue when you do this or the adhesive sheets. So here I'm just adding some fill-in spot, and then I will just trim that. Even with the, it's very sticky. It holds super well. And the nice thing about using the adhesive sheets for this is that, boy, I would almost like to add something more right there, but I don't know if I want that. Maybe I just do a leaf. I can't stop. I just want to keep adding. So to start in the middle, you just have to get underneath that adhesive. Oh, that didn't really work. We just want the end of this leaf right here, right there. There, I'm just gonna tear that off and then trim it. So you can see the other side of my paper was multicolored. All right, so now what I wanna do is lift that up. So the hard part about this, I have one feather left if I wanted to use it, is to add dimensionals to the back of this because you do want to pop it up. So I think what I will do is just cut, let's see if I want to use this end right here. No, I guess I'll use this. Just cut some slivers of this to add to my my back of my feathers. And this is where it gets a little tedious, I guess you would say. You want to have some support in all over. You don't want to have it where it's sagging. So you can make this, I mean, oh, you know, there's a whole nother technique with this, or another, what do they call it? They call it the floating frame, let's see, floating frame, I believe. And that's where you do an entire piece of, like a full piece, and you adhere your images to the entire piece of window sheet. Then you die cut a rectangle or a circle from the center and use this on one and one on the other. So you'd have, like if I had done a whole piece, I would have this frame to put on another card, and then this would be the center for a second card. So that's called the floating frame card, or floating frame technique, I believe. I don't know. And the nice thing about our dimensionals is that they're white, so putting it on a white card base, you won't see any of these pieces that I might not be covering very well. Let's see. Could use something there, but I think I'm going to try without it. So I textured this with the Bark 3D embossing folder just to have a layer and have a little interest. Oh, I can see it's not quite cut to size, but it'll be fine. That's a little bit generous in my length. Okay, so what I plan to do here is add a touch of gold. This is another piece of that Abstract Beauty, and just a little strip of gold on this. And I'm going to show you what I like to do when I'm adding thin strips. Pretend this is even thinner. Add it to this or the back of this, and then when you're putting it on, don't ever do it upside down. When you do that, do it right side up so you can gauge how much you want to see of that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so then I went ahead and I did another thanks, and I think I'm going to add that right here off to the side on a navy piece. So first I'm going to adhere this. Isn't it that gold really does make it elegant? So the Amazing Thanks dies, I've just started using them and they are really nice. And I think I'm going to offset this a little bit and have that gold edge a little tighter over here. Okay, then I will glue just the center of this because my navy strip is a little narrower than this. I had it thicker and I didn't really like how how wide it was. It covered up too many of the pretty feathers. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, again, I like banners. I'm just going to cut another banner, and then I'll see if we want to add some gold pearls to this. Yeah, really elegant. Those little tiny dots that are all over this paper really add a lot to it. Okay, so I don't want to pop this up since it already is. Oop, I have something on my finger. I think I'll add it right here where the paper starts. I want that banner hanging off the edge. All right, so totally different cards using the same technique. And I have some gold pearls in our gold and silver pearls. Let's see. What I'm thinking is maybe just a little set of 3 right down here. We'll see what we think. Sometimes I do 2. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with 2. They think things have to be in odds. Sometimes I like 2. Okay, very similar, but yet so different. You like the leaves best, Annette? Awesome. Yep. I don't know which I like better. I really like the monochromatic look of this and that bold white embossing, and then, of course, the little extra leaf there. So, yeah, those are some floating technique cards is what we did today. So I'm still not quite sure how I'm gonna finish that, but we'll see. We'll see what I come up with. So tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Central Time is my next Facebook Live. Every Tuesday at 11 o'clock Central, I am live, and tomorrow I'm featuring the Waves of Inspiration suite. So it starts tomorrow for everybody, and it's amazing. I'm almost speechless. I love it so much. So I can't wait to share them with you. I've got some neat projects and techniques that we'll be using with those. So, all right, thanks so much for joining me. And by the way, I will be opening a Let's Share post in my Flowerbug Stamp and Share group that that if you make a floating card technique and share it there, you'll be in the drawing for a free embellishment. And let's see, it would be the second Tuesday in March, which should be the 8th, I believe, would be the second Tuesday. I'll be doing another live, and I'll draw a winner for them. So you have only a week and a day, I believe, to make a floating card and share it there to get in on the door prize. So I'll open that post, and I'd love to see what kind of design you're going to use. Remember, the sky's the limit. You just have to add them to a window sheet and pop it up and jazz your card up a little bit. All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see many of you tomorrow morning. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.